Yamaha Senior on the track now. For qualifying, Comet Sportsman, you better be on the grid. You're next. Comet Sportsman, you need to be on the grid right now. You're going to be on the track here in just a couple of minutes as soon as Yamaha Senior is complete. 14 drivers signed in for Yamaha Senior. One kart gets around. Keeps it going. Looks like that was the number 1 of Camden Speth. Got around on the opening lap here as they come around to get the green flag. Andy Cockman in the 00. Camden Speth, the number 1. Brett Schneider, the number 3. Gavin Holtem, the number 5. Chase Jones in the 17. Nick Landy, number 26. Ross Resner, the number 31. Darren Brubaker, the 37. Patrick Olson, number 45. James Brock on the Burrell, number 52. Colin Griffin, the 55. Dakota Pesic, number 79, Arrow. Pesic defending Yamaha Senior National Champion. As drivers take the green flag from starter Denny Long and go on the clock for their first of 3 qualifying laps. Comet Sportsman, you should be on the grid. Tag Senior to the grid for qualifying. Tag Senior to the grid. You'll be on the track after Comet Sportsman. White flag in the air on Yamaha Senior. Camden Speth, fastest so far by nearly a half second over James Brock. So Speth looking good with a minute 10.7. Brock second, Schneider third, Hughes fourth, and Pesic fifth. I'd like to ask drivers to please come to the grid when you're called. We don't want go-karts down at the entrance to the grid if your class isn't going out for another 4 or 5 sessions. So please keep in mind that we need carts to the grid as your class is called. We appreciate you getting to the grid early, but sometimes it can create a log jam down there at the entrance to the grid. Please keep that in mind for us. Checkered flag in the air. See if anybody has anything for Camden Speth here. James Brock gets a little closer with a minute 10:8:44. That's about 0.2 off of Camden's best time. As the last couple of drivers cross the stripes. Looks like we have a couple more coming down the back straightaway now. And that'll put an end to Yamaha Senior Qualifying. Unofficially, Camden Speth, your Streeter Pole Award winner with a minute 10:6:18. James Brock second, Derek Hughes third, Brett Schneider fourth, Chase Jones fifth, Pesic sixth, Fink seventh, Griffin eighth, Olson ninth, and Brubaker will round out your top 10 in the 14-kart field for Yamaha Senior. Comet Sportsman on the track next. GT7 Motorsports Comet Sportsman. You should be set to go on the grid. About 14 drivers signed in this weekend for Comet Sportsman. You all should be down there and ready to go for qualifying. Tag Senior to the grid. Tag Senior, sponsored by TS Racing. To the grid, please. And it looks like GT7 Motorsports, Comet Sportsman, set to hit the track now, and here they come. Our second class to qualify this morning, drivers vying for Streeter Superstand's Pole Awards. 14 drivers signed in. Brandon Lemke, the 01 Merlin chassis. Zach Holden on the Deuce top cart. Michael Paterno, the number 03. Alex Bertignoli, the number 4. Jamie Williams on a PCR, number 04. Anthony Gainchi Jr., the number 07. GT7 Motorsports Tony Kart. Drew Lindley, the number 12. Austin Shafts on a Merlin, number 18. John Paul Southern Jr., number 20, PCR. Sam Mayer, Double Deuce, Merlin. Leonardo Stoyas on a Techno, number 27. Giovanni Bramonti, number 33, Top Kart. Jack W. Miller, Burrell, number 40. And David Malukas on the HMD Trucking, MRP Burrell, number 79. Those are your 14 drivers on the track now for Comet Sportsman qualifying. Tag Senior, you're out next. TSRacing.com, tag senior drivers. You should be on the grid. You're next. Yamaha rookie will follow. Green flag in the air, Malukas and Southern, the first two drivers to take it, as your Comet Sportsman competitors go on the clock for their first of 3 qualifying laps. Now remember, this is the only class running best 5 out of 6 this year in Man Cup. Comet Sportsman 1, which is this division, running best 5 out of 6 races toward your national championship. Sunday's Comet Sportsman 2 was added at Kershaw, did not run that class at Daytona. That's best 4 out of 5. Every other class in the Man Cup is best 9 out of 12 races. Malukas and Southern go by. Southern hanging with Malukas pretty good here. Those are your first 2 drivers in the order. Lemke also crosses the stripe as we get some times down. We'll see who's quick after our first lap. Ganji quickest after lap number 1, a minute 13:887. Looks like Southern's gotten by Malukas there. Southern right now 7th, Malukas 8th. Lemke goes to the top with a minute 13:4. That's nearly a half a second better than Ganji's opening lap. Ganji goes by. He does not improve at all, so Lemke going to be quick after 2 laps. Still have Stoya, Holden to come by and a couple other ones. Tag Senior, you should be on the grid. Tag Senior should be on the grid for qualifying. White flag in the air. Your last few drivers set to take the white here. So after 2 laps, it's Lemke quick with a minute 13:4. Ganji nearly a half second back at a minute 13:887. Sam Mayer 3rd, Holden 4th, Stoya rounding out your top 5 after 2 laps. Drivers working the 3rd and final lap. Here they come 3 wide nearly down the back straightaway. Here's Lemke taking a look to the inside of Malukas. You'd think it's a heat race or something as they come around to get the checkered. Southern, Malukas, and Lemke all go by. Lemke's does not improve at all. That lap about a 10th off of his lap number 2 time, but that's probably going to be good enough here as nobody's within a 0.4 of a second. And your last few carts take the checkered, and unofficially your Streeter Superstand pole award will go to the number 01 Merlin, Brandon Lemke with a minute 13:4. Anthony Ganji Jr. 2nd, Sam Mayer 3rd, Austin Schaff 4th, Zach Holden 5th, Leonardo Stoya 6th, Southern 7th, Williams 8th, Malukas 9th, Bertignoli rounding out your top 10. $17 drivers signed in for Tag Senior. Set to hit the track next. Yamaha Rookie, you should be on the grid. New Jersey Sprint Series. Yamaha Rookie Sportsman, you should be on the grid. You're out after Tag. Drivers set to hit the track. The 00 is Mason Schalutz out of Houston, Texas, on a top cart. Jonathan Kotick out of Florida, he's on a Tony cart. Jake Johnston out of New Jersey, the number 08 top cart. Dustin Strauss on the number 11. Kendra Hurlbert on the number 12. Drake Ostrom, number 18. Andrew Abuidaso on a PCR, number 21. Mick Gabriel, the 23. Derek Dignan's on the 24. Dignan won a couple of tag races at Kershaw. Won both Saturdays, tag senior and Perilla senior, in fact. Garrett Johnston picked up a win in tag on Sunday at Kershaw. He's in the number 25 top cart. Jacob Newman in the number 30. Jesus Rios Jr. out of Miami Beach. He's the number 37 I cart. That's an American-made chassis. Patrick Soar is the number 55. Robbie Seward on a DR cart, number 63. Mike Geeson's on an I cart, number 68. He was on a Tony cart at Kershaw and Daytona as well. Ayrton Climo, the number 77. Mark Bose out of Pennsylvania. He's on the number 72 top cart. Tag senior drivers on the track now for qualifying. 17 signed into Tag Senior this weekend, sponsored by tsracing.com. New Jersey Sprint Series Yamaha rookie drivers, you should be on the grid, you're next. Rookie, you should be on the grid, you're next. After rookie will be cadet sportsman. Micron Man to the podium, please. Micron Man, if you could please report to the podium. White flag in the air for Tag Senior. We'll see who's quick here. Rookie, you should be on the grid. Drivers completing their second lap. So far, Robbie Seward looking good at a minute 6 flat. Jesus Rios' first lap was a minute 6 flat as well. He's working lap number 2 right now. Kotick, Knuven, and Geeson up there in the top 5. And Rios and Geeson go by, both on iCarts, and right now they're 1-2. Rios with a minute 5:82. Geeson with a minute 5:9. Those are your top two right now. Robbie Seward on the DR cart, third. Mark Bowes, fourth. Derek Dignan in fifth. So a couple of American-made chassis looking good right now. Rios and Geeson, they were quick down in Mooresville a few weeks ago. And quick again today. Now Seward moves back up to second with a minute 5:9, just better than Geeson's time. They're both about 0.3 of a second off of Rios. Now Jonathan Kotick moves into the second spot with a minute 5:841, still nearly 0.3 off of Rios. Seward third, Geeson fourth, but Geeson still working his third lap. Looks like Rios is going to be good here, unless Geeson has something to say about it. Schalutz moves up into the top five with a minute 5:986. That's good for fifth. As the last few carts cross the stripe, Dignan goes by on the FA cart. He's sixth, and that's going to be it. And wow, 7.5 tenths better than anybody. Jesus Rios Jr. on the iCart, number 37, a minute 5 flat for Rios. Kotick, a minute 5:841. Nearly 0.8 of a second better than the entire field is Jesus Rios Jr. on the iCart. Kotick second, Seward third, Geeson fourth, Schalutz fifth, Dignan sixth, Gabriel seventh, Mark Bowes eighth, Jake Johnson ninth, and Jacob Knuven in 10th. And your rookie drivers pulling onto the track. I believe we have two groups for Yamaha rookie. First of two groups on the track now for New Jersey Sprint Series, Yamaha Rookie. "29 drivers signed in this weekend for Rookie. This class keeps growing larger and larger. Great to see. certainly for the health of the sport, when our youngest class of competitors is, I believe, the largest class here this weekend. Third year on the circuit for Yamaha rookie. Started out with about 15 of them. If I can remember correctly, back to Daytona, that would have been the 2011 opener. And now we're up to a full field of nearly 30, so a terrific field of Yamaha rookie competitors, age 7 to 10 years old. Many of these drivers will move up to the Cadet Sportsman and the Yamaha Sportsman and even the Comet Sportsman next year. Other drivers will stick in this division for a couple years before advancing. Dino Lambros out there in the number 17. Gunnar Bischoff is the number 48. Carter Cass, the number 15. Tanner Hulwerda, the number 24. Thomas Schrag, the number 01. Mason Main, the number 6. Andrew Bish, the number 51. Luca Mars, the number 42. Ryan Detlor, the number 58. Tate Steinman, the number 0. Cameron Chris, number 5. Talon Drake, number 18. Aiden Lindley, number 19. Eli Fox in the number 99. William Lambros, number 77. Again, first of two groups on the track for rookie. Next class out is Cadet Sportsman. Need KunaUSA.com sponsored Cadet Sportsman to the grid. Cadet Sportsman to the grid for your qualifying session. Checkered flag in the air for Yamaha rookies' first session. These drivers, of course, running the Yamaha KT100 engine with a 3-hole RLV can. Talon Drake quickest so far as drivers work the third and final lap. Talon at a minute 18:6:42. That's over a second quicker than the rest of the field out there right now. Andrew Bish second, Aiden Lindley third. Now Dino Lambros moves into the third spot, bumps Lindley back to fourth. William Lambros sitting fifth. Now another shakeup. Carter Cass moves into the third spot. And that will do it for group number one. Talon Drake will have the time to beat. A minute 18:4:43 will be the time to beat set by the number 18, Talon Drake. Bish in second, Cass third, Lambros fourth, Lindley fifth in group number one. And here comes group two, your top point drivers. Out there in group two, pulling onto the track now, Connor Ferris on the top cart. Deuce, the number 10, is Madison Campo on the Burrell. Robert Noaker, the third out of Pennsylvania on a Haas car, number 3. Parker Abott out of Minnesota on a PCR, number 11. Max Kowalski, the number 02. Nick Shepard, the number 20. He's on a PCR. Andrew Castellucci, the number 9, Burrell. Griffin Coons is on a Praga. That'll be the only Praga chassis out there, number 21. Gage Rogers was quick at Kershaw, nearly picked up a win. He's on a Burrell, number 1. Jaden Larson, number 36, Intrepid chassis. That'll be the only Intrepid out there. Mark J. Finesse, the number 05 Burrell. That's a local driver, runs the national circuit, but from here in the Indiana, the Greenfield area is Finesse. Brian Tremper Jr., the number 13 Haas chassis. And then the two drivers who have won all of the main events so far this year, and rookie Jeremy Fairbairn out of Miami, Florida, won both main events at Daytona. The number 87 rather, Tony Kart, and Tyler Ferris out of New Jersey picked up both wins at Kershaw in April. That's the number 28 Top KARTS. Time to beat, set by Talon Drake, 1:18.4. And after one lap, Gage Rogers already to the top with 1:18.169 as your other drivers coming around here to complete their first lap of qualifying in Group 2. Cadet, you should be on the grid. Cadet Sportsman, you should be on the grid. Comet Pro will follow. So Gage Rogers has moved to the top. Connor Ferris up to second. Max Kowalski third. Talon Drake from session at number 1 is fourth, and Mark J. Finesse is fifth. Now Finesse moves into the second spot. Rogers improves his time, 1:17.772. So Gage Rogers looking really good on that Burrell. He's quickest so far. A half second back is Finesse. Connor Ferris third. Griffin Coons moves into fifth. Tyler Ferris up there in seventh. Gage Rogers still quickest. Max Kowalski has moved into the second spot. Drivers come around to take the checkered flag. Mark J. Finesse goes by. He's still third. Rogers crosses the stripe, improves his time once again, 1:17.675, 0.4 of a second better than Kowalski's second lap. Finesse third, Connor Ferris fourth, Griffin Coons in fifth now. Coons crosses the stripe, still fifth. Jeremy Fairbairn goes by back there in the 18th spot. Parker Abid crosses. He's 12th. The number 10, Madison Campo, goes by in 8th spot. Nick Shepard is 13th. Jaden Larson is 20th. Kowalski completes his run, still second. Andrew Castellucci's moved into the top 5 in 4th spot, bumping Connor Ferris back to 5th. Tyler Ferris back there in 9th. Looks like one more kart still to cross the stripe. That was the number 3 of Robert Noacre, the third, back there in 22nd. So Gage Rogers, quick time unofficially at 1:17.675. Rogers, your Streeter Pole Award winner unofficially over Max Kowalski, Mark J. Finesse, Andrew Castellucci, and Connor Ferris rounding out your top 5. Griffin Coons, 6th. Talon Drake from session number 1. 7th, Madison Campo, 8th, Tyler Ferris, 9th, Brian Tremper Jr. in 10th. KunaUSA.com, Cadet Sportsman, set to hit the track next. 19 drivers signed in to Cadet this weekend. High Torque Comet Pro to the grid. Comet Pro to the grid for your qualifying run. Looks like clearing one kart off of the track before we get Cadet Sportsman out there. Again, 19 drivers in Cadet. Savannah Fitzgerald, the number 0. Brandon Lemke on a Merlin, number 01. Zach Holden on the Deuce, number 2, top kart rather. Luke Finesse, the number 3. Burrell. Jamie Williams, the PCR, number 04. Jason Wellage on a Merlin, number 5. Anthony Ganji Jr., the number 07 Tony Kart. Devin Buteau, the number 08. Drew Lindley, number 12. Alex Lester, number 19. John Paul Southern Jr. on the PCR, number 20. Lance Fenderson on a top kart, number 23. Giovanni Bramonti also on a top kart, number 33. Leonardo Stoya, number 27, Techno chassis. Roman DeAngelis on the number 47 Tony kart. Michael DiOrlando on a Tony kart, number 51. Matthew Dunkovich, number 61. David Malukas, number 79. And Nicholas DiOrlando, the number 95. Cadet Sportsman on the track now. Drivers coming around to take the green flag. High Torque Comet Pro, you should be on the grid. You're next. Comet Pro, you are next. White flag in the air. Let's get some times. Lemke quick so far with a minute 16:141, 0.2 of a second better than Holden. Malukas third, Ganji fourth, Southern in fifth after one lap. Drivers come around to complete lap number 2. Last few drivers to come around to complete lap 2 and take the white flag. Stoya goes by. He's 5th. Bumps Southern back to 6th. No change in your top 4. It's Lemke, Holden, Malukas, Ganji, followed by Stoya. Working the third and final lap of qualifying, drivers will come around to take the checkered flag, this time by. Off of your final corner, Anthony Ganji Jr. crosses a stripe. Good lap for Ganji. Moves into second with a minute 16:280. Bumps Holden and Malukas back to third and fourth. Stoya still 5th. Time to beat is a minute 16 flat, set by Brandon Lemke, looking for his second Streeter Superstands Pole Award of the day. Picked up the award earlier in the Comet Sportsman class. Still another sportsman class to run a little bit later this morning. That'll be Yamaha Sportsman. Malukas crosses a stripe. Good lap for David. Moves into second. Bumps Ganji back to third. Holden back to fourth. Nicholas D'Orlando moves into the top 5 with a nice third lap. Give Nicholas 5th spot. Now Stoya goes back to 5th. Nicholas D'Orlando back to 6th as your last few drivers cross the stripe to take the checkered flag from starter Denny Long. And the only driver under a minute 16 flat will be Brandon Lemke, unofficially your Streeter Pole Award winner on the Franklin Motorsports Merlin. Brandon Lemke with a minute 15:680. Malukas second, Ganji third. Holden 4th, Stoya 5th, Nicholas D'Orlando 6th, Southern 7th, Drew Lindley 8th, Michael D'Orlando 9th, and Matthew Dunkovich will round out your top 10. High Torque Comet Pro pulling onto the track now. Yamaha Junior to the grid. Vulture Racing Engines, Yamaha Junior to the grid. You're on the track after Comet Pro. And a checkered flag in the air for Comet Pro. Patrick Olson, your fastest by nearly a full second over Jonathan Kotick. James Brock, third. Jarrett Dunkovich, fourth. Bobby Cummings in fifth. Brett Schneider, sixth. And Darren Brubaker, seventh. Vulture Racing Engines Yamaha Juniors set to hit the track next, and here they come. DRT Racing Tag Masters to the grid. Tag Masters to the grid, please. Two groups for Yamaha Junior, 24 drivers signed into this class this weekend. The number 5 is Caden Harder. Harder out of Ohio on a top cart. Nolan Rucco in the number 23 Haas out of New York. Dan Piercy, the number 17. Luke Durrett, the number 71 on an Arrow. Nick Ludicky, the number 16 Cosmic. Ludicky was quick down in Kershaw. We'll see what he can do today. Abby McLaughlin, number 56 Top Cart. Marina Walters, the number 99 Arrow. Also on an Arrow is the number 4 Andre Castro. Devin Wojcik out of the Syracuse, New York area on a Swiss Hutless. The only Swiss Hutless here, I believe. Number 11. Adam Sturgill on a DR cart, number 49. Christian Ledesma on an Arrow 00. And on the Double Deuce Haas chassis is Dario Cangliosi. Green flag in the air for Yamaha Junior, 12 to 15 years old age group here. One of the most competitive classes in the Man Cup for a number of years. Several of these drivers moved up into the senior classes. We had about 40 of them last year in Yamaha Junior here at Newcastle. White flag in the air. Adam Sturgill, first driver to go by. Caden Harder, quickest after one lap. Nick Ludicky, second. Both those drivers still working lap number 2. One driver off the pace down the back straightaway. Looks like it's a top cart. Can't make out the number. Maybe the 14 Kenlon Morse, as all drivers take the white flag other than the 14 of Morse. Caden Harder, quickest after 2 laps, a minute 11:692. That's a little more than 0.4 of a second better than Nick Ludicky. Adam Sturgill, third. Marina Walters, fourth. And Christian Ledesma in fifth. Drivers coming around to complete their session. Checkered flag in the air from starter Denny Long. Sturgill crosses a stripe, still third. Rucco goes by. He's in sixth. Luke Durrett goes by. He's seventh. Caden Harder goes by. He's at the top of the charts right now. A minute 11:675 for Caden Harder. And that third lap was his best. Ludicky's still second. And all drivers cross the stripe, take the checkered. Looks like we'll have, I believe, one cart to pick up here before we get Group 2 out. Time to beat will be Caden Harder's minute 11:675. Harder's top cart quickest after one session. Ludicky, Sturgill, Walters, and Ledesma, second through fifth. Here comes group number 2. Julia Bose pulling onto the track on her top cart. Noah Unger on the DR cart, number 79. Olivia Horn on a Tony cart, number 72. Tazio Torgiani, number 07, Haas. Matt Solarczyk, number 12, MRP Burrell. Braden Eves on a PCR, number 44. Eves has been quick this weekend. Killian Caveni, number 41, top cart. Caveni picked up his first ever Man Cup win at Kershaw back in April. Emerson Reed, a top driver on a top cart, number 88. Reed's out of Ohio. Gresham Wagner's out of Virginia, the number 05 Arrow. Grant Quinlan out of Maidstone, Ontario, Canada, number 28 MRP Burrell. Quinlan, a former WKA Triple Crown champion in 2011. Austin McCusker, the number 06 Haas. And also on a Haas is your point leader, the number 8, Brandon Jarsakrak. Green flag in the air for Yamaha Junior. Session number 2. Tag Masters, you should be on the grid. DRT Racing Tag Masters, you're out next. Yamaha Sportsman will follow. Yamaha Sportsman, start making your way to the grid for your qualifying run. Drivers will come around to complete lap number 1 and go on the clock. And Quinlan already makes quick work of Harder's time. Grant Quinlan to the top of the charts with a minute 11:373. Solarczyk moves into third. McCusker into fourth. So a major shakeup already in your top 5 as drivers come around to complete their first lap of qualifying in the second session for Vulture Racing Engines Yamaha Junior. Emerson Reed crosses the stripe, as does Jarsakrak. And Wagner now moves into third. So Wagner third, Jarsakrak fourth, and Reed in fifth. Harder still second from group number 1. Time to beat now will be 1:11:373, set by Grant Quinlan. 0.3 of a second better than Caden Harder. Quinlan crosses the stripe, does not improve his time at all, but it's within a half a second of his first lap, so consistent is Grant Quinlan. Now Braden Eves moves into second with 1:11:5, about 1/10 and a half off of Quinlan's time. Harder back to third, Solarczyk still fourth, and McCusker in fifth. All drivers complete lap number 2. Gresham Wagner moves into fourth with 1:11.7. So it's Quinlan, Eves, Harder, Wagner, Solarczyk. As drivers work their third and final lap, they'll get the checkered flag this time by. Remember, 98.1 FM is the FM frequency to tune your radios to. 98.1 FM if you want to listen to PA announcements throughout the weekend here at Newcastle Motorsports Park. Checkered flag in the air off of turn 17 is Quinlan. Does not improve his time at all. 1:11:4 that last lap there, but he's consistent throughout the session. Eves crosses the stripe. He doesn't improve at all. He's still second. McCusker goes by, still sixth. Emerson Reed completes his session. He's in eighth. Caveni goes by. He's seventh. Now Jarsakrak moves up a couple of spots. Jarsakrak will go to seventh. And Gresham Wagner bumps Quinlan back to second. Wagner with a fast lap of 1:11:294. Less than 1/10 better than Grant Quinlan. So we'll unofficially give the Streeter Pole Award with a nice third and final lap to the Aero chassis. Gresham Wagner, Quinlan second, Eves third. Harder fourth, Solarczyk fifth, McCusker sixth, Jarsakrak seventh, Caveni in eighth, Emerson Reed ninth, Nick Ludicky from session number 1 will round out the top 10. That's Yamaha Juniors. So Wagner found something on that third and final lap to bump Quinlan off of the pole. Just about set to go with Tag Masters, sponsored by DRT Racing. MRP Burrell Yamaha Sportsman to the grid. Yamaha Sportsman, make your way to the grid right now. You'll be out after Tag Masters.
Tag Masters, how come Bob's ain't out here?
He's not a master yet, I don't think. He's 30, right?
Green flag in the air on DRT Racing Tag Masters. Only 6 karts signed in this weekend. John Ferris III on his top kart. Kim Cray-Palatti, the number 5. Tom Gersner, number 7. Scott Ferris, the number 21. Scott Cray-Palatti, the number 43. And Steve Sheaver, the number 14 top kart. White flag in the air on Tag Masters. Scott Ferris, quickest so far. Steve Sheaver in second. John Ferris the third in the third spot. So 3 top karts make up your top 3.
Now we're down to 1 motor. I don't want 4 both trees, you know?
No, they just have another one. All right. That's what they tried to do.
Any better?
No.
Is that our number 1 that blew up? Great.
Yeah, go Steve. You got pole.
Got it.
And Steve Sheaver with a nice third lap moves up to the top of the charts with a minute 7:132. Scott Ferris second. John Ferris the third. In third, Scott Cray-Palatti fourth. Kim Cray-Palatti fifth. And Tom Gersner in sixth. MRP Burrell, Yamaha Sportsman, pulling onto the track now. Perla Sr. to the grid. Grand Products Top Kart, Perla Sr. to the grid. You're on the track after Yamaha Sportsman. Need Perla Sr. to the grid. 2 groups for Yamaha Sportsman. Connor Cass in the number 1. Michael Paterno, the number 03 CRG chassis. Leonardo Stoya is on a Techno, number 27. Giovanni Bramanti on a Top Kart, number 33. Roman DeAngelis on number 47. Tony Kart. Savannah Fitzgerald, the number 0 PCR. Nicholas D'Orlando out of the Kuna USA stables, number 95, Tony Kart. Drew Lindley, the number 12, Burrell. Lance Carboy, the number 31, Tony Kart. Lance Fenderson on a Top Kart, number 9. And Jason Wellage is a number 5 on a Tony Kart. Massimo Sanchez-Lero also out there. Massimo on the number 9 Burrell. Green flag in the air for group number 1 of 2 for Yamaha Sportsman. Grand Products Top Kart USA Perla Senior, you should be on the grid. Techno Chassis Comet Jr., you will follow Perla Senior. Right now, group number 1 of 2 on the track for Yamaha Sportsman. Stoya's quickest after 1 lap. A minute 16:7:12 for Leonardo Stoya. Giovanni Bramanti in second. Wellage, Fenderson, and Lindley round out your top 5 after 1 lap. Newcastle Restaurant open for lunch. Lunch menu now being served at the restaurant here in the main building. Grab yourself a salad, a burger, or a sandwich. Lunch now being served here in the main building at the Newcastle Restaurant. Stoya improves his time, a minute 16:7:12 for Leonardo. Former PCR driver, now on a Techno chassis. Debuted that Techno at Mooresville a few weeks ago. Stoya wasn't at Kershaw. Right now he's quickest in group number 1 as drivers work the 3rd and final lap. Bramanti second, Lindley third, Wellage and Fenderson rounding out your top 5. Checkered flag will be in the air this time by. Checkered flag in the air. Drew Lindley crosses the stripe. Still in 3rd place. Wellage goes by. He's still 4th. Bramanti completes his session. Still 2nd, so no change in the top 5. Looks like Stoya is going to be good here in group number 1. As Stoya completes his run, best time is a minute 16.5 for Leonardo Stoya, about a tenth of a second better than Giovanni Bramonti. Fenderson moves into third with a nice final lap. So Fenderson shakes up the top 5 a little bit, goes from 5th to 3rd place with a minute 16.665. So after one session, it'll be Leonardo Stoya. Time to beat is a minute 16.517. Giovanni Bramonti, 2nd place. Lance Fenderson, 3rd. Drew Lindley, 4th. Jason Wellage in 5th. Group number 2 set to hit the track now. Your top point drivers moving on to the racing circuit. Alex Bertignoli in the number 4 Merlin chassis. Luke Finesse, the number 3 Burrell. Austin Schaff on a Franklin Merlin, number 18. Devin Buteau, the number 8 Tony Kart. Sam Mayer picked up his first Man Cup sportsman win at Kershaw in the number 21 Merlin. Michael D'Orlando out of New York, the number 51 Tony Kart. Simon Sykes in the number 6 Arrow. Anthony Ganji Jr., the number 7 Tony Kart, also from New York, is Ganji. John Paul Southern Jr. from Ohio in the number 20 PCR. Zach Holden from just down the road, Greenfield, Indiana, on the top kart, number 2. David Malukas out of Chicago on the Burrell, number 79, and Brandon Lemke's out of Wisconsin, the number 01 Merlin. Lemke's your point leader. Malukas has 5 wins thus far in 2013 Man Cup action. Lemke's looking to sweep qualifying for the day in Sportsman. He won the Streeter Pole Award in Cadet. He also won it in Comet Sportsman. Looking for Pole Award number 3 is Brandon Lemke. Keep an eye on him. The number 01, that green Merlin chassis, just took the green flag. Perla Senior, you should be on the grid, set to go. Perla Senior, you should be on the grid. Comet Junior will follow, and that will mark the end of qualifying. Drivers completing lap number 1, and already Brandon Lemke to the top of the charts with a minute 15.9, over a half second better than Stoya's lap in session number 1. So Lemke flexing his muscle once again in this Yamaha Sportsman class, moves to the top of the charts after 1 lap. Sam Mayer, the other driver, to move up into the top 5 after 1 lap. Mayer into 3rd. Bumps Bramonti back to 4th. Malukas is up to 5th after 1 lap. Working lap number 2 in session number 1, or session number 2, rather, in MRP Burrell Yamaha Sportsman. White flag in the air from starter Denny Long. Southern goes by. He's 9th. Finesse crosses the stripe. Still Lemke at the top. Now Malukas moves into second with a nice lap. A minute 16:3:44 for Malukas. That's good enough for second after 2 laps. Bumps Stoya back to third. Mayer back to fourth. Bramante still hanging on to the top 5. Two laps down, going to look for a checkered here. Lemke, Malukas, Stoya, Mayer, Bramante, your top 5. Checkered flag in the air as Southern crosses the stripe. First kart to take the checkered. He's in 10th. Finesse goes by. He's 16th. Buteau is 20th. Austin Schaff moves into the top 5 with a nice lap. Schaff is in 5th. Bertignoli in 12th. Zach Holden in 9th. Sam Mayer goes by. A nice lap there for Sam. Moves into 3rd, but Ganji will bump him back to 4th. A nice lap for Anthony Ganji Jr. up to 3rd. But once again, unofficially, your Streeter Pole Award winner for the 3rd time today sweeps the sportsman class as long as he gets through scales. It's Brandon Lemke in the 01, a minute 15.7, 0.2 of a second better than David Malukas. Anthony Ganji Jr. 3rd, Mayer 4th, Stoya from session number 1 is 5th, Michael D'Orlando 6th, Austin Schaff 7th, Giovanni Bramante 8th, Lance Fenderson 9th, Zach Holden will round out the top 10. Grand Products top card, Perilla Senior moving on to the track now. 29 drivers signed in, so our 2 largest classes of the weekend. Perilla Senior with 29 drivers, and Yamaha Rookie Sportsman also has 29 drivers signed in. Green flag in the air, Kyle Kalish and Billy Lewis, your first 2 drivers to go by. Ashley Rogero crosses the stripe to go on the clock. The 55, Patrick Soar is also out there. Austin Queen in the number 4, top cart. Kendra Hurlbert on a Merlin, number 12. Kalish is on a Merlin as well. Nick Landy, number 26, Tony Cart. Billy Lewis in the number 31, Jesus Rios Jr. on the I-Cart, number 37. Mike Geeson's also on an I-Cart, number 68. Chandler Horton, number 82. Sam Cate, number 88. Billy McLaughlin, the 56. Austin Elliott is the number 78, top cart. Nick Johnston, DR cart, number 90. Ashley Rogero, Tony cart, number 17. Robbie Seward, DR cart number 63. Comet Jr., you should be on the grid. Comet Jr., you should be on the grid for your qualifier.
No, he's not.
White flag in the air now. Kalish crosses the stripe, as does Billy Lewis and Ashley Rajero. Let's get some times here after one lap. Jesus Rios Jr. quickest so far. Two laps down for Rios. It's a minute 5:2:80 for Jesus Rios Jr. 0.2 of a second better than Ashley Rajero. Billy McLaughlin third. Billy Lewis fourth. Austin Elliott fifth. Mike Geeson in sixth. Drivers will come around this time to complete their session. Checkered flag in the air. Kalish crosses the stripe. He moves into fifth. Billy Lewis with a nice lap up to second. Bumps Rajero back to third. Now Rajero goes to the top of the charts with a minute 5:0:91. A minute 5 flat for Ashley Rajero. Bumps Jesus Rios back to second. Let's see where Rios is on the track as he comes around to complete his third and final lap. Has a little bit of work to do now. I believe this is Rios coming down the back straightaway through turn 17. And Rios goes back to the top with a minute 4:9:43. Rajero back to second. So a nice final lap there by both Rios and Rajero. Billy Lewis in third. Mike Geeson also on the iCart. He's fourth. Billy McLaughlin in fifth. So Rios, time to beat will be a minute 4:9:43. The only driver under a minute 5 flat is Jesus Rios Jr. Rajero second, Lewis third, Geeson fourth, McLaughlin fifth. Yamaha Seniors, start making your way to the grid. Yamaha Seniors, start coming up to the grid for your pre-final. Second session for Perilla Senior. Coming onto the track now. Comet Jr. will follow, and then we'll move right into pre-finals. Once again, Yamaha Seniors, start getting suited up for your pre-final. Second session on the track for Perilla Senior, sponsored by Grand Products Top KARTS. Dustin Strauss in the number 11 Tony card. Austin Erickson on the Praga number 2. Chase Jones, number 71 Top Kart. Jake Johnston on a Top Kart number 08. John McCusker, the number 01 Haas. Jacob Duvall out of Florida on the DR cart. Number 7 is Jacob. Corey Towles, the number 04 Cosmic. Mason Chalutz, a 00 Top Kart. Mark Bowes also on a Top Kart, number 72. Derek Dignan on the FA kart, number 24. Garrett Johnston on the number 25 Top Kart. Jacob Knuven on an Arrow, number 30. And Cal Stewart, the number 9 Praga. Time to beat is Rios' minute 4:9:43. If nobody can beat it, that'll mark 2 Streeter Pole Awards for Jesus Rios Jr. He also won the Pole Award in Tag Senior earlier today. All drivers complete lap number 1. And nobody even close to Rios' time. Comet Junior, you should be on the grid. Yamaha Senior to the grid for your pre-final. Yamaha Senior to the grid for your pre-final, please. Mason Chalut's quickest out there right now. He's up to 6 with a minute 5.6. That is 7/10 off of Rios' time from session number 1. So Rios looks like he's going to be pretty good here. One cart off the track on the back straightaway. That might be John McCusker over there on the back stretch in the 01. And the checkered flag in the air from starter Denny Long. Mark Bowes takes it. He's 10th. Jacob Knuven moves up to 8th with a minute 5.686. Jacob Duvall crosses a stripe. He's 22nd. Jake Johnston is 18th. Dustin Strauss up to 11th. Garrett Johnston, a Kershaw winner. He's back there in 22nd. Wow. Cal Stewart, 13th. He's your point leader. Stewart can't even break the top 10 this morning. Chalutz does not improve his time at all. He's 6th. Dignan goes by in the FA card. He's 15th. Make it 16th as Chase Jones moves into 13th. Ostrom's 15th. Dignan 16th. Looks like one more cart coming around here. That'll be Austin Erickson as he completes his run. So unofficially, your Streeter Superstand Pole Award winner for the second time today out of Miami Beach, it's Jesus Rios Jr. with a minute 4.943. Ashley Rajero's second, Billy Lewis third, Mike Geeson fourth, Billy McLaughlin fifth. So your top 5 all from session number 1. The quickest in session 2 was Mason Chalutz. He's 6th. Austin Elliott 7th. Knuven 8th. Kalish 9th. Robbie Seward will round out your top 10. So your final class of the morning on track to qualify now. It is Comet Junior, sponsored by Techno Chassis. Techno. 15 drivers signed in for Comet Junior. Emerson Reed, the number 88. Olivia Horn, number 72. Abby McLaughlin, number 56. Alexander Kardashian, the 55. Julia Bose, the 51. Adam Sturgill, number 49. Braden Eves, number 44. Killian Caveni in the 41. Grant Quinlan in the 28. Dario Cangliosi, the double deuce. Matt Solarczyk, number 12. Tazio Torrigiani, the 07. Austin McCusker, the 06. Gresham Wagner, the 05, and Mike McAndrews, your Kershaw double winner in Comet Junior. He's on the MRP Burrell number 1. Yamaha Senior to the grid for your pre-final. Need Yamaha Senior to the grid for your pre-final. Yamaha Senior, come on down to the grid, please. Going to go right into pre-finals after this last class of qualifying. 1 lap down. Grant Quinlan, quickest so far, 1:08, 6:74. That's 0.5 of a second better than McCusker. Wagner, Solarczyk, and McAndrews, 3rd through 5th. Now Emerson Reed moves into 3rd with a nice lap. 1:09, 2:61 for Reed on the top cart. Quinlan doesn't improve his time at all, but he's still quickest with 1:08, 6:74. McCusker second. Now Braden Eves moves into second with a nice lap. 1:09.1. McAndrews crosses the stripe. He's 6th with 1:09, 2:21. Last couple of drivers coming around to complete their second lap. Gresham Wagner crosses the stripe, back there in 8th. So the last lap of qualifying going on right now. It's Comet Junior, sponsored by Techno, the final of 11 classes to qualify. Emerson Reed completes his run. He's currently 5th. Adam Sturgill is 10th. Grant Quinlan is 1st. 0.4 better than Braden Eves. We'll see what Eves can do on his final lap here. Solarczyk goes by. Solarczyk moves into 2nd. Now McCusker will bump Solarczyk back to 3rd. Austin McCusker with a nice lap. 0.2 off of Quinlan's time, but it's good enough for 2nd. Solarczyk 3rd, Eves 4th, Reed in 5th now. Now McAndrews with his best lap of the session moves into 3rd. So a couple of Burrells up there in your top 3. Quinlan and McAndrews 1st and 3rd. Couple karts left to go. One kart still going up there to the back corner by the highway. And he'll be your final kart to cross the stripe here in a moment. And the 22 completes his run. And that will be the end of qualifying. Your Comet Junior Streeter Pole Award winner unofficially, Grant Quinlan in the 28 with 1:08, 6:74, 0.2 of a second better than Austin McCusker. Mike McAndrews 3rd. Matt Solarczyk 4th. Braden Eves 5th. Emerson Reed 6th. Tazio Torgiani 7th. Gresham Wagner 8th. Julia Bowes 9th. And Adam Sturgill will round out your top 10. That concludes qualifying for the day. We'll have 11 more classes to qualify tomorrow morning. But before we get to that,